it's tricky. It's tricky. Okay, so I've been on a long break of collecting Lego sets. I was a Bionicle head back in the day. It started with Lego dinosaurs and then evolved into Exoforce and then finally Star Wars. But it's been since the Imperial Drop ship that I've collected Star Wars sets. And in 2024, I was thinking about getting back into the hobby of collecting Star Wars sets. And there's only one set that I thought that could get me back into this. And it retires now in 2024 in December. So I'm gonna check this set out and see if it's worth going back into collecting and if it's worth the $399 price point. I'm of course talking about the Eisley Cantina set. Wow, this is a big set. Comes in at 3,187 pieces, 21 minifigs, and a price per piece ratio around 12 cents. Now, I'm not sure if that's good or bad. Let me know in the comments below what the magic ratio is for price per piece. And I believe this to be the 4th version of this set. I remember it from 2004 being on shelves with Luke's land speeder built into it, and I really wish that it came with that, but I understand that in 2020, Lego also released Luke's land speeder and Obi-Wan's hut. And I understand why they gave that separately, but I would have loved if that stuff was included in here, at least the speeder. I'm super excited to get into this, and this is just the kind of set that a old Exoforce fan would probably see themselves getting into, considering that there's a lot of stuff going on here, and I'm sure that you can recreate your favorite scenes in here. But I will say the dewback I remember in 2004, I think it might have been, or it might have been later, but it featured the old Lego dinosaur pieces, which I loved back in the day. And I'm sad to see that this dewback does not seem to have that much mobility. Back in 2004, I knew that the dewback's legs at least would go back and forth. Yes, it was one piece, but it had some sort of movement. Now, before we crack this bad boy open, let's talk about the box design. We start in the left corner with a Eisley Cantina logo and a Master Builder Series logo on the right. This black background with just the playset in front works perfectly to lure us adults back into collecting in this hobby. I feel like it's very mature. It feels very $399 worth. And on top, we have all the minifigs included, all 21 of them. That's a lot. And then in the back, we have the Eisley Cantina opened up, so you can see how this build kind of comes together, a bit like a dollhouse almost. And then we have a still of Greedo and Han during their iconic scene. I am very curious how this build is gonna be. Keep in mind, it's been almost 20 years since I last collected Lego sets. So I'm very excited to get back into this and see if there are new building techniques and whatnot. So let's crack this bad boy open. Sounds like there's pieces in here too, but there were 18 bags in the box, and then in this box, it seems like there's a little bit more. Okay, so once you've opened the box, you get about 14 bags from the main one, and then 13 bags in the white box, including the instructions, a sticker sheet, and the dewback itself. Thankfully, not that many stickers. You guys who collected Exoforce will know that they don't age very well. They start peeling off. So I'm very glad that there aren't that many stickers in this set. But with that said, let's build it. Bag number 2. Another one? Lego, print on your pieces, please. I'm telling you, this is way too hard for an adult. Now the real question is it swooshable? So next up is the bar from the Cantina. It's bag 3. Let's do it. Now here is a printed piece element, and I would love it if we could do more of that because the stickers are just annoying to put on. Here we have the Cantina bar, and I must say the intricate building techniques were really fun, and I'm super excited to keep on exploring what this set has to offer. On to bag number 4. Mos Eisley Spaceport. You will never find a more wretched hive of scum and villainy. Obi-Wan Kenobi. Turns out there's 2 bags with a 4 on it, so this is the second one. The last time I put a cape on a minifig must have been Darth Maul on the Sith Infiltrator that came out in 2007. So putting on the cape feels quite nostalgic, and I'm enjoying myself. So it seems like I made an error, and it's the first time that I'm using the brick separator, and it works. I've never used one of these before, and I'm pleasantly surprised how well it works. I found another printed piece, and I'm assuming that we're not doing any more stickers, right, Lego? Bag number 5. Spare parts. Bag 6. The last time I put together an R2D fig was probably the Naboo Starfighter with Anakin and the droid from 2007. Pretty good set for the value that it was at, but these feel a little bit loose. I don't know if they've changed the design or the mold, but they feel a little bit loose compared to what I remember. Might be false memory. But yeah, fun to see R2 again. And now we're on to bag number 7. It's funny because I only see the inside and you guys only see the facade of this place, but it's coming along pretty good. And I might just be the biggest hater of gray Lego Star Wars sets, so I'm very happy that this is a beige one, a little bit of color. I would not want to be paying like $900 for just like gray pieces like the big AT-AT. Not for me. Give it a pop of color, just a little bit. I like the way this is coming together though. Bag number 8. Bag number 8, part 2. Pretty cool minifig. I like it a lot. Oh, it keeps going. Okay. This is a very big backpack. Homie is carrying the entire empire on his back. That is one decked out minifig. I like it. Gotta rearrange the table because things are getting big here. Very cool. It's coming together and I'm having fun. So I've come to a point in the instructions where it tells me to use this blue piece, yellow piece, and red piece. And I'm not a fan of this technique of using bright colored pieces to know where they go. Clearly, we've been building in beige so far with no problem. I don't remember this at all as a kid, that we needed very bright pieces to show us where they go, because I've managed so far very fine with just laying down the beige pieces. Not a fan. It's tricky. It's tricky. So I'm thinking that I'm maybe a third into the build, and I have to say this set has probably sold me on going back to building Lego. The instructions point out that in the movie, the door should be sliding to the side, whereas in Lego form, it slides up and down. This is such a fun little build, and I'm not gonna get bored of doing this. We are now on to bag number 9, which is the last bag from the white box. So it's little moments like these that I truly appreciate when I'm building a Lego set. So an interesting thing that these premium sets do that I've never seen in a cheaper set is that they give you insight to the filming process. And in this case, they explain that the interior shots of the Cantina were shot in a studio in London, and the exterior shots were shot in Tunisia on set. On to bag 10. What would the Cantina scene be without the Biff musicians? So one of my favorite things to build so far has actually been these couches. They're super fun to build, and they look honestly quite realistic to be made out of brick. And I just want to sit in it with my other minifig homies and, you know, kick it in the Cantina. A little bit of Technic. I wonder if this is going to have a play feature. So there's another Technic feature coming up, so I assume that it is to launch whichever character you want. But can you imagine how this could play out for the rest of the Star Wars movies? What would happen if Greedo shot first? Think about that in terms of the sequels. So let's test this little feature and see if I'm correct. That worked pretty well. I assume that that's what the play feature is going to be. $11. Bag 12. When the brick separator can't do the job, you better pray that your nails can. Bag 13. I'll let you stand right there. Okay, now I understand the significance of this little guy. I apologize for my lack of knowledge. And we are back into the cantina. As I finished this little build, I was wondering why there was one white piece left, and then I looked up in the catalog where this is supposed to show up. It doesn't show up anywhere. It's not even supposed to be in this set. And that's also because there's another piece missing. So this somehow made it into the batch, and there's a window piece that's missing. Contacted Lego, and it says 9 to 12 days before the piece can arrive, and this is a premium set. 400 bucks, and all the pieces aren't even here, which is quite unfortunate. But I guess with that said, I'm gonna keep on building and leave a gap for when the eventual replacement brick does arrive. Gonna replace actually the window piece that's missing with these spare parts, a smooth beige tile and a dark beige tile. Now we're on to bag 14, and there's actually 3 bags of 14, and one thing that is very unclear in the instructions is how many bags you're actually looking for. It shows one that says 14, which is step 14, but there's 3 bags, and sometimes it becomes a little messy trying to figure out how many bags you're looking for because there's a lot of them to begin with. He looks quite concerned from the front, and his little smile is showing through in the back. I'm literally never getting bored of this feature. So I feel like we're getting close to the finish line now, at least with the main cantina. There's a lot of side builds too, but it is such a blast to get back into Lego like this, especially with a set like this where there's more than one thing going on and it's not just a bunch of gray pieces. $15. So this is the first time that I actually use one of these stud shooters. Let's give it a try. Not a huge fan of the fact that it doesn't have any attachment points, it just lays on top. It seems that the camera died at step 15. But during step 15, we built this, and the little details that make this set stand out. And it really showcases what you get for 400 bucks. And I'm dreading that this is almost over soon. There's only 3 steps left, but let's get into bag 16. Oh, it's time for the do back. I guess that is all the mobility that you get in 2020. And it's weird because this is about 20 years almost later than the original set, which had movement in the tail and movement in the legs. But I guess we traded for a more unique mold that fits the do back better. But one thing that I'm really enjoying about this set is the terrain building that the designers have gone quite far to achieve. I personally don't want my sets to be completely tiled off to make it look super realistic. This is still a Lego set at the end of the day. And I want those studs to be exposed so I can place my characters kind of wherever I want, because at the end of the day, this is a toy and you need to give it room for some imagination and playability. And this set is really delivering on both of those aspects. Here's a little bit more information about Tatooine given by the instructions. The cantina itself is known for strong drinks, hot tunes, and plenty of action. Outside the bar, there's room for shady action too. The 2 extra buildings in typical Tatooine style can connect to the Cantina building or work as standalone buildings in your own creative version of the Mos Eisley Cantina. So what I really like about that is that it inspires you to kind of create your own world with this Cantina set. And that's not something that you generally see with Star Wars. When I grew up, there were always secondary builds that you could create with the pieces that you were given to create a official other version of the set. Sometimes they would be canon things, sometimes they would not be canon. But the idea was kind of to inspire you to create your own things, which Lego doesn't seem to do anymore with anything. It really is just you buy the set that you see and that's kind of it. Of course you can build whatever you want, but they don't really encourage it the same way that they used to. So seeing them talk about that you can build your own world within Tatooine is really cool, and it's nice to see that at least with a super expensive set like this one, that it at least encourages you to go beyond what the set gives you. But now we're on to bag 17. The one thing you're really getting when you're building one of these Master Builder series sets is detail. Lots and lots of detail, and that's the most fun part of building a set like this. So these are not the type of building techniques that I'm used to. In the early 2000s, we didn't have detail like this, and this is something that's enticing me to continue this hobby for sure. Growing up, this was one of my favorite pieces to find in a Lego set. Final step 18. I have no clue how to pronounce this guy's name. I think it's Garindan. And this is the final minifig that you assemble. So the final build is now done. Let's assemble the last part of the Mos Eisley Cantina. And voila. Before we go anywhere else, we gotta talk about the 21 minifigs included in this set. Starting off with Luke Skywalker with a dual face print, Obi-Wan Kenobi, C-3PO, R2-D2, Han Solo with a dual face print, Chewbacca, a Sand Trooper squad leader with a face print, Sand Trooper with a face print, the Biff Musicians, Wooher with a double face print, Greedo, Ponda Baba, Dr. Evazan with a double face print, Labria with a double face print as well, Percha Kalfas, Mawau Nadon, Cabe, and a Jawa, and finally Garindan. And one big dewback. Now this is the best version of the Mos Eisley Cantina for sure. It's packed with details, minifigs, play functions, and a super fun and intricate building experience. It comes with side builds, it comes with spaceships, it comes with everything that you would want out of a $400 set. Do I think it's worth the price point? Yes. I understand that not everyone can maybe afford a set like this, but if you are going to get yourself a play set in the Star Wars line, I think this is something you should pick up before it goes. The Cantina is retiring at the end of December, and Lego's own website in my area is out of stock. When I picked up my set, there was only 3 left, so I recommend that you pick this set up sooner rather than later so you don't miss out. There's no need to remake this set for a while, because the details and the build experience was just perfect. There is nothing that I would want except a land speeder potentially in a set like this. One of my favorite builds in the set was actually the bar itself. You can clearly see the inspiration that they took from the actual scene itself, and the metallic tones are perfect, a little splash of color here and there, and the fact that they expanded on the Star Wars universe by adding this little back room for the bartender. Along with that, the lounges are perfectly recreated. The moisture vaporators are perfect. Everything in this set just gives you what you would want out of a Tatooine / Mos Eisley set. It just gives you exactly what you paid for. The details, the play functions, it just gives you what you want. You get access to every room from the top, so you can put the minifigs in. The back rooms can open and close. You have a lot of little gates here and there that you can open up. And this is the perfect play set. And for an adult such as myself, I think there's a lot of fun to be had here. It's not just a display piece for your bookshelf or your desk, because you can every month move things around, play out different scenes. And I really think that that is what a 18+ set should deliver as well. That it's not just another bookshelf piece. It really is something that you can customize and make it your own. This is not just another gray ship that you put on the bookshelf. This is something that you really can play around with, not just as a kid, but as an adult. Now there's a lot of scenes that you can recreate in this set. You got Ponda Baba and Dr. Evazan confronting Luke and Obi-Wan, Greedo and Han, the Bith musicians. You got R2-D2 and C-3PO being told that they don't serve droids. And you even have the dewback on the outside. I'm not sure what more you could want from a set like this. It really delivers on everything that my expectations were. And coming back to Lego around 16 years later than my last Star Wars set, I think I'm hooked, but I'm not sure if every set will deliver the type of punch that a $399 set can. But I really do recommend you to pick this up, because this is the type of set that you're gonna look back at and regret that you didn't get it. Now I will say there was one flaw with this build, and that was the missing piece. It created a quite uncomfortable environment in which I would find myself wondering if pieces were missing when I couldn't find them straight away. And that's not a fun experience when you've paid the price that this set costs. But other than that, I really don't have any feedback at all to the design team. This is such a flawless build. The instruction booklet even encourages you to build your own Mos Eisley buildings to add along the set. And I think that's such a great way of expanding on what's here. And it's an encouragement that I wish we could see in more sets, because again, when I was a kid, you got the alternate builds, and that's not something that we really see anymore, which I think is sad, because it's not encouraging creativity the way Lego used to be. But this does not need anything else. I think this is a perfect set, and I don't really have that much more to say other than get this set if you can. You won't be disappointed. It's about 10 hours of just pure fun and perfect Lego techniques. Wrapping things up, let me know if you guys were missing any pieces too, because I looked up online and some people were missing stuff, and in a set like this, not okay. But otherwise, I do have one more Lego Star Wars set that I will be reviewing on the channel soon. I got it for my birthday and I'm very excited for that, because it's a 2000 recreation of a Technic set that I really wanted as a kid. But considering that the channel is new, give me any recommendations for new sets or advice moving forward. Like, comment, and subscribe, and share the video if you liked it. It really helps out this new channel. And other than that, I need to go and walk my dog.